Hey guys, Zackthrills here with JR America, and a lot of you guys know, obviously I'm a JR team pilot along with Cody, Code Red, myself, Zackthrills, and JR Radio, they've been around for a long time, okay, and quadcopters, minicopters, whatever you want to call them, they've been getting smaller and smaller. Well, we use a system which is a serial RX, which is called XBUS. Now, the nice thing about the XBUS, which obviously being just like what most of you Spectrum guys realize, it reads much faster. You get much faster command control. But the one dilemma right now that we face is everything is going smaller. Well, JR has a receiver, and when you get this receiver, the way it works is you'll buy this receiver, comes in a little package. It's called the JR RG612BX, and I'll have it right in here. What you do, you pull it out. It's not the smallest receiver in the world, but it's also not the largest, okay? The RG612BX, it's really not that big, but to us guys in the world of minis, that's big, okay? It's 42 long by 12.5 wide, okay, by 18.5 this way, okay? So once again, 42 long, 12.5 this way, 18.5 this way, and that is millimeters, okay? It's 4.5 to 8.5 volts, okay? It also weighs right around, I'd say 8.5, 9 grams. Okay. The antennas that you've got, they're 105 millimeter. The coaxial length and the actual antenna length is only 25 millimeters long. Now, this is 2.4 gigahertz. It can do telemetry. Obviously, we run it off of XBUS. But the biggest thing, is we want it small so it'll fit into things. So what I do, and what I've recommended to obviously my other teammate Cody Matson, aka Code Red, is what I do personally is you don't need all this. I go ahead, I find the little seam right here, I pull it apart, and when you pull it apart, you see it just comes right apart. You'll end up with a piece like this. Your two antennas will be hot glued on right here, and you pull your antenna leads right off the little hot glue just to make sure they don't get in the way. You discard the little plastic outer piece, and what you're going to have left, guys, if you can see this, I'll try to make it to where you guys can see it, is it's actually made it a lot smaller, okay? And I'll measure it here in a second for you guys, or I'll make another video and measure it. But what you'll notice is if you flip it upside down, you'll see you've got it's like 6 or 8 little pieces of solder. You got one on the end, one on this far end, and I want to say 4 or 5 right here. And if you flip it over, you'll also see, kind of hard to see, but if you look right in between this hole, see if I can get it to, you'll see one on the outside, one right there, another one, another one, another one, another one, and the outside. Those are all solder joints. So what I do is I go ahead, I grab my solder gun, put a little solder on it just to make it easier. So that way it goes ahead and make sure it's already hot. And what I'll do is, and some of you, if you got a reflow bench, that works best. You can heat it up all at once. Just make sure you're not heating up any other connection, and then just blow the hot air on it, heat it up, and just pop this little side piece off. Okay, that'll come completely off. So let's see, we'll get it off here real quick. Show you guys. It's really not hard. Just takes a second just to heat it up. Break the little joints on it, the little solder beads. Do one side. Make sure you have a nice little sponge, something you can get the solder off of the end of your tip with, and come back to it, just to make sure you got a clean connection and it's disconnected. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead, I'll take a break real quick. I'm going to desolder all these pins for you guys to pull this pin off, and I'll be right back. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so I went ahead and I desoldered the receiver, as you guys can see. And this is what it looks like when it's pulled, or when it's not pulled apart and just pulled out of the package, as you can see. They do put hot glue right here on the connections for the antennas, because they actually have them like this glued on, and then they tack a little glue on in between it. But once you have it desoldered, now this is what you're left with. Very, very, very small. A lot smaller than what it was, okay? So now that you have that, go ahead, grab your two antennas. What I like to do to help take up a little room, and it is the way they do it also, go ahead, snap your little antenna wires back on across the board, okay? Lay them on there nice and neat. And what I like to do is I like to get a little hot glue, put a little hot glue on each one of these. One, not just to keep them on there, but also to keep them from touching. And then I went ahead and I go ahead and put a piece of hot glue, a little drop right here, and a little drop right here, just to keep them down. And what I like to do, some of you guys have preferences on heat shrink. Some of you, you know, it's complete personal preference. I like using this heat shrink. It's really nice. It's a hard plastic. It's what we're used to seeing more like around batteries. I like it just because it's clear, and it's also little, and it makes a really nice seal around it over heat shrink. And the 3M adhesive adheres to it really well. So what you do, go ahead and open it up. Once you got your antennas seated down properly, go ahead and open it up, slide it in there. Let me get it in there. Make sure it's big enough, okay? And get your lighter, or I prefer using a heat gun, and I'll go ahead and heat this up, and I'll show you exactly what it looks like once they're finished. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and heat shrink this. And like I said, I like the clear, harder plastic. You can also get some of this, which is more of the rubber, more of the heat shrink we're used to. You want to go ahead and give it just a little bit above where the pins are. And I actually like to leave a little bit longer where the antenna wires come out. What we'll go ahead and do is heat this baby up. And I like to apply even heat all the way around, so the heat shrinks it perfectly, nice and neat. Okay. Go ahead, shut that off. And what you'll see is we're left with a really, really nice, compact little receiver from JR. The only pin you really got to be worried about is this one right here. This is going to be your XBUS pin right here. That is the only one you need to worry about. It's these three on the left. If you want to make it even smaller, go for it. I mean, if you've got the ability and you want to desolder these 6 pins, and you want to solder your actual main wire that goes to your flight controller directly to these pins, you know, you want to solder your red, black, and white directly onto the board, that might even be nicer too. Do that. That'd be a nice little trick. Okay, that'll make it even flatter. But as you can see, guys, it's really flat. I mean, to me, that's plenty of room. I might actually even try desoldering this, and I'll shoot another video and let you guys see. And like I said, hot glue here, hot glue there, and that's it. She's thin. Definitely a lot smaller than the factory one. It makes it a lot more easier to conceal. Guys, I'm Zackthrills with JR America. I hope you liked it. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe down below. Thanks, guys.